calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Oh, baby! Come on, all of y'all. Let's get ready to rock and roll. I am hyped today. I said a prayer for you, and even you haters. I sent them out to you. What's going on? It's Reese on the radio right here live on WTIC News Talk 1080. I want to give a shout out to my homies. You know who you are. You are the fine, beautiful, gorgeous even, men and women who listen to the show at home, sitting at home right now. Of course, people like the Eanes who sit at home and listen to the show in its entirety. Some of you, sit at home after you've done your work day and go back and listen to the show. But you are my homies because you listen at home. Other guys are on the road. You folks who are my roadies, that's who you are. Not my roadie, but you know what I mean, my roadies. Those who are on the road driving the heart and soul of this country. You people on the road dealing with the traffic, those animals. Stop merging! What? Nice blinker, dude. Nice blinker. You guys, I respect you. I don't understand why people get so outraged. Roseanne is the worst backseat driver or next door driver or passenger seat driver. She will curse out the driver that I've got to deal with from the passenger seat, in essence putting me and my life in jeopardy while I am as patient as they get. So I want to give a shout out to all of those people, the homies and the roadies, who are out there doing what they can and enjoying the show every weekday afternoon starting at 2 o'clock. I also want to give a shout out to, if I may, I want to give a shout out to this young lady. Never met her, but if anyone knows her, please tell her to call me so I can speak to her. Her name is Mona Colwell. Mona Colwell. She posted something last night that nobody told me about. Apparently there was an event last night called Meet the Candidates, where everyone from Aaron Stewart, Ryan Fazio, Betsy McCoy, George Austin, none of these people called me. I thought we were cool. I thought I was your homie G Money Slice Grip, but I didn't get an invitation, and I heard Chris is here. Chris B is in the house. Chris, what town was this in that I said?
I don't know.
But near Meriden, the town near Meriden.
Chester.
Oh, Chester.
Near Middletown.
Yeah, Chester. Thank you. My boy Chris B is in the house chilling out with me today. We'll bring him on. You guys remember him from last time. He's really, really into Jethro Tull. Are you still into Jethro Tull?
Oh, not that much.
Okay, all right. You used to be.
I used to be.
Used to be. Okay. Anyway, you guys remember him. Craig in the car, you guys remember. He's a big rock aficionado. Actually, I've got a great conversation for you and me today during the 5 o'clock hour during music news. I don't know if you saw it in the New York Post, but Gene Simmons has made some news today, and I will get. Don't look it up. I'm going to ask you right off the bat. I want your honest opinion before you read into it. We'll get into that a little later. Anyway, Mona Colwell actually put on X the event. She took video of each candidate and put it out online because I didn't know anything about it. There was no memo sent out for this. I would have loved to have gone to see all the candidates go out there and meet with one another, which, by the way, means that we can do this debate with all of the candidates together answering questions. Seemed like this was a very cordial event with Republicans getting together, talking to people about what their platform is. So I hope we can get it. We can get it done. Did I say? I said Jethro Tull. I say it like that, Spawn. I really don't say it like the regular folks do. I say it like I would brothers. What's that? Yeah, and birthday. Yes, Jethro Tull. I don't know. I don't even listen to him. All I know is that Chris really likes them. Or at least he used to. So if anybody knows who she is, Mona Caldwell, tell her I would really love to hear from her. And thank you for posting those videos last night because I got an opportunity. She was, in essence, the only person putting media online for people to watch the candidates as they spoke. And that was a good deal. It was nice to find that out. In fact, when I looked up on Grok to see if anyone else had covered the event, Grok mentioned Mona's post as the only place that you could see it. So kudos to her for taking care of the rest of us who could not make it or didn't get an alert to go. Last night we learned that the SAVE Act has gone through Congress. And if you're asking yourself why it got one Democrat vote, I am going to answer that question today, folks. Henry Cuellar, the lone Democrat out of Texas who voted with the Republicans, why would he stray from the Democrats and all the nonsense they've been spewing about the SAVE Act? Oh, it's called political survival. Oh, it is political survival. Don't worry about all that nonsense, but we'll get to that as well. Also today, we are going to do Negro nonsense, but we're going to do a little different today. There's a little bit of, let's say, classwork today. Normally, I would give you guys homework, but today I want to do a little bit of classwork. So if you're not driving, roadies, do not do this until you stop, maybe at a red light or at a delivery post. But make sure you are stationary. Do not do this while you are driving. Homies, get out the computers. It's a little bit of homework. I want you to look up two phrases, okay? One, you may not get anywhere. The other one, you will. I want you to look up a term called Negro drivers. This is important. This isn't racist. It is not racial. This is a thing. When you find it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about today. Especially those, 8 or 9 African Americans who listen to the show. I want you to look it up as well. This is a part of your history that you are not familiar with. Now, I told you that this February I would not be doing any Black History Month stuff. But this one is important for Negro nonsense because the information that I have gathered, and I don't know what came to me, but it popped into my head. I said, I know that there is a definition for this. And sure enough, there was. And there's a long history that goes behind what is called the Negro driver. You've probably never heard of it, and you've probably seen it. But here's where it gets interesting. It turns out that this distinction is also referred to when speaking about people like Barack Obama and Hakeem Jeffries. Look it up and then go, oh, no, yes. And I have all the evidence of it today. We'll get into it. So, stand by. More news and more views than you can shake a stick at. But let me get to my opening monologue about the SAVE Act. This is not going to change anything, let's just say, substantial in Connecticut at all. It is not going to help Connecticut have a free and fair election. However, it will gum up the works. Let me explain how it will, because I went to look this up just a couple of minutes ago, and I thought this was important. I asked, how will the SAVE Act change things in Connecticut? And it says, if enacted, effective dates vary by provision, but many would apply immediately or for the next federal cycle, which is the 2026 midterms. The proof of citizenship for federal voter registration, voters will need to provide documentary proof of citizenship, e.g., U.S. passport, birth certificate, naturalization certificate, or certain tribal documents when registering to vote in federal elections. Standard driver's licenses are real IDs, even if compliant. Social Security cards or affidavits alone would not suffice in most cases. Standard driver's licenses, real IDs, even if compliant. Social Security cards or affidavits alone would not suffice in most cases. This would be a major shift for Connecticut, where self-attestation currently works. Connecticut Secretary of State Stephanie Thomas has called prior versions bad for Connecticut, warning it would create barriers, increase administrative burdens on local registrars, and potentially disenfranchise eligible voters, especially those without easy access to documents like low-income, elderly, young, and naturalized citizens. Now, again, this is my favorite part of this debate, is that people will not have access, or some people will not have access to birth certificates or documents. Now, I got to be honest with you. What's so scary about what these people think of poor folks in this country is that poor folks don't think birth certificates are important. I grew up poor. I know a lot of my friends who grew up poor. And parents are really particular about their documentation. Birth certificates, Social Security cards, these things are important. Why are they important? Well, in order to get on food stamps or any welfare, you must have that documentation. What are they providing to the welfare office if they're getting food stamps or EBT cards? What are they providing? What woman in her right mind would not be able to find the documents that she needs if she were on some form of government program? I mean, we're not really talking about women who got married and have changed their names. You know that they're talking about the dumbest women. Come on. Stop playing games with me. I don't want to hear any leftists screaming and hollering and say, "What you saying, Reese?" No. Listen to me. If you don't know how to get a birth certificate or a Social Security card, and you can't find someone in your social circle who can teach you how, or you can't put your silly little fingers on your smart device to find out where, you may very well be the dumbest person on the face of the earth. And what Democrats are telling us is that a whole swath of them are dumb women. Come on. Tell me otherwise. And I want to hear you liberal men, come on, pull up your panties, get on the phone and tell me how silly I am. Tell me how disrespectful I am. I know. Come on. Pull out your thong. Tell me why I'm ridiculous. Because that's what the Democrat Party is telling you. They're saying that the women of your party are too stupid to figure out how to get a new birth certificate or to change their name when they get married. Have you folks ever had to do it? Have you ever had to explain it to a woman? So you see here, sweetheart, we go down to the building and we fill out this document. Yes, that's no. Don't be scared. It's all right. No. I will read it to you, sweetheart. I will read you the document. I find it incredibly silly that every day I have to be told by young black men, old black men, hell, every liberal male, women are smarter than men. They're the most educated of all of us. They go to college more than anybody else. Don't they? They tell us that all the time. And then miraculously, when the voter ID law comes out, all of a sudden, everybody switches, turns into a transformer and just goes, but the women is dumb. And then you think that I'm supposed to vote for that nonsense. So which is it? Which is it? Are these women the brightest, the smartest, the leaders? Are these the women that we're supposed to follow? Because I'm under the impression we need to remove ourselves from the patriarchy and follow the matriarchy. Why? Because these women are nurturers and smarter and go to college and have more college degrees than the rest of us. Except when it comes to getting a birth certificate. For some odd reason, then they all woke up by the swing of a hammer to the brain. For some odd reason, now you're telling me that a woman wakes up and goes, I believe that I can solve the world's problem. Hey, honey, it's time to get a new birth certificate. Duh. Don't confuse me. Come on, man. Come on. I want to hear it. Let me see it in the chat room. Let me see it on my text messages. Come on. Explain it to me. I so badly need this to pass. I need it to pass. Not only that, because I want to go out there into the street, and I want to see all the women in the street bumping into each other like bumper cars, trying to figure out. I want to see it. I want to see them bumping into each other. That's what I want to see, because that's exactly what you're trying to explain to me, that all of a sudden, out of all the issues in the world that these women can solve, the birth certificate is stopping them. That's what you think it is. Here's what I suggest. Men, if you want to be in charge of your home, I figured out what you can do. Tell your wife that she is in charge when she can fill out a birth certificate application. And if she can't, you rule the roost. Do you understand? It's as simple as that. We'll be back. It's Reese on the radio.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio right here on WTIC News Talk 1080. Thank you, Rattlesnake. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you laughed. And it's absurd and it's stupid and it's ridiculous. The way that people are framing the slave act. Well, they keep calling it Jim Crow 2.0, and I can't help but think let's just call it the Slave Act. In fact, if they had thought of that, they could have framed it that way. Imagine a PR that would have happened if they had said that. Anyway, so all of it is absurd, all of it is ridiculous and stupid, and everybody knows that. It's not important. But I wanted to play this because this shows you exactly how ridiculous this whole thing is. And in my opening monologue, if you missed it, please go to WTIC.com. In about an hour, it'll be up. And at the end of the show, it'll be, of course, available there at ReeseOnRadio.com. In one breath, they keep telling us that women are the smarter of the sexes. They keep telling us that more and more women, especially black women, are joining the ranks of the collegiate ranks than ever before. Girls are smarter than boys. We keep being reminded of that every single day. And then the issue of the birth certificate comes up, or the issue of voter ID comes up, and they come up with this ridiculous idea that women are the dumbest to ever live. And they sort of have it both ways. But now, of course, there's evidence that this is who the Democrats and the progressives are. And boy, do I have some great evidence for you. This was during the pandemic. And it's always crazy that almost everything in our lives today can go right back to the pandemic to show you exactly how much of a hypocrite these folks are. So imagine this. Let me see. MSNBC. I have it here. This is what MSNBC had to say about vaccine mandate locations. Now, this is a report on the now defunct MSNBC, which is now MS Now. This is them talking about which places had vaccine mandate IDs.
We've been seeing across the country, as you know, New York City, Los Angeles, San Francisco, New Orleans, just a few of the cities who have already had these vaccine mandates in place. Here in Chicago, as you mentioned, as well as Philadelphia, those mandates take place today.
Now, every one of those places she mentioned was a Democrat stronghold. Every one of them. These vaccine mandates, that's where they were. But she was sitting in Chicago, and it was rather cold. This is the second part of her report on MSNBC. Listen closely. I'll even play it twice for you.
Here in the Windy City, what that looks like is anyone aged 5 years and older must show proof of being fully vaccinated.
What? What? 5 years old? Must have proof of being fully vaccinated? I wonder how he's going to do that. Is he going to put up his arm and go, see, I got my shot? No! He's got to have documentation. He's got to show up. He's got to have something in his hand. Okay, Timmy, show the man your vaccination. Here you go, sir. Scan it for me so I can go in and get my Chuck E. Cheese.
Here in the Windy City, what that looks like is anyone aged 5 years and older must show proof of being fully vaccinated, that vaccination card. Then if you're 16 years and older, you have to have a photo ID.
What? If you're 16 years old, you have to have a what? A photo ID? Are you insane?
That vaccination card. Then if you're 16 years and older, you have to have a photo ID to accompany that vaccination card. The city here is saying, look.
Wait. Hold on. I'm sorry. For some odd reason, I feel like this woman said that you had to have a vaccine card, and if you're 16 years and older, you had to have a photo ID. Now, hear me out. I don't want to sound crazy. So you're saying that women are dumber than a 16-year-old. Okay, all right. I mean, finally somebody said it. I'm so proud of you. Saying the thing that many of us have been thinking for a long time. I don't feel like a chauvinist now. I don't.
This is a way to try and decrease the spread of this virus. As we know, Omicron is just surging across the country here. We've been talking to business owners, restaurant owners who say they've got mixed feelings of this.
She said Omicron. Is she sure she doesn't mean Unicron? It's not Unicron? I always thought it was Unicron. It's Omicron? Okay. Which one's Unicron? Is that from the Transformers? Played by Orson Welles, by the way.
Are frustrated, worried about having to hire more staff to try and police this. Others say, look, a year ago, we had zero business. Our doors were forced to close, so this is a way to try and stay open and keep everyone safe. Important to note here that the city of Chicago says they will be enforcing this.
They will be enforcing the ID and vaccine cards. I wonder what the enforcement's going to be. Perhaps she'll tell us. Or maybe she won't. She is a woman. She's older than 16. She may not even know.
One who's violating this mandate will be fined and even forced to close for a day.
Yeah, that's right. The store, the location that you're traveling to will be forced to close if you do not follow these rules. And I just found that out of the blue. I was going, what the hell is this ridiculousness that I am seeing here? No one seemed like, again, and this is, listen to me, folks. Hear me out. No one was screaming about anyone being able to get an ID. Think about it. Before COVID, they said that poor people could not obtain an ID. That has been said since the 90s, years before COVID, decades even. Couldn't get an ID. COVID comes around, you better have your ID. Was that not discriminatory towards the poor and indigent and women? Wasn't it? They were making them get an ID for COVID. No one ever said that it was going to be a racist Jim Crow era. I mean, come on. If there was anything that was as close to Jim Crow, would it be voter ID or vaccine identification? Come on. Imagine Cletus moseying on down to the Woolworth. Hi, I'd like to get some apple pie for me and the missus. Boy, you got your vaccine card? Well, no, sir. We poor travelers who don't have that much money to buy the ID, we were hoping on your good faith you would give us some of that sweet apple pie. You get on out of here, boy. You ain't got no ID. We ain't serving you. Now go in the back. What you doing here in the front entrance anyway? You ain't vaccinated. I mean, come on. Can't go into a restaurant, huh? Seriously, why didn't you just have colored or unvaccinated water fountains? Why not? I mean, seriously. Let's just call it like we say it. I just wanted to, because this is, to me, this is always something I've said for the longest, folks. This is for the longest, I said. The Democrats have never changed. This is who they are. This is always who they are. They were like that way during COVID. They're like that now. Telling everybody what they can and cannot get. What about women who have no access to get their birth certificate? What? Who are these women? They used to be able, you remember when the Democrats used to do this? When they were trying to make a point, they would get all of the women or all of the people they were talking about. Remember that? When COVID was out and they wanted everybody to be vaccinated, out of nowhere, physicians were coming out of the woodwork, standing behind them while they were out having press conferences. And they were all cheering. That's right, get your vaccination. We're going to get ours now, too. Look at us. Where are all of these women? They have not rallied these women to come out of the woodwork and get their testimony. Hi, ma'am, tell the world about how difficult it is to get your birth certificate. I tried. I just can't find my birth certificate. We don't see them. I have not seen a fair representation of these idiots they seem to say cannot get their birth certificates changed or their IDs changed. We should be parading these people around. Or perhaps the truth is the truth. They don't exist. That's all I'm saying. It must be one or the other, folks. That's all I'm saying. It's one or the other. It's either there are 20 million denunts running around who can't figure out how to change their ID, which, by the way, should be a travesty. We should have a government program for these people, shouldn't we? Like, we should have developed something for this, right? If we could develop a program for 20 million illegals that got into the country for free, and we managed to give them thousands of dollars and room and board, if we could do all that, why aren't we doing something for those 20 million ignorant folks who can't seem to figure out documentation? We should have a government program, shouldn't we? Let's see. We should call it Girls Without ID. Maybe, yes, Women Without Identification. Or, let me see. Let's think of another one. Let me see. Oh, I got it. I figured it out. I figured it out. It's a good one. Women. No, that's not a good one. Okay, I had one. I think one. I think one. It's in my head. It's almost there. Aha. Broaders Without ID. No, that doesn't work. Not that one. Doesn't work. My wife is here. Just look at me. Chicks Without Pics. That's a good one. I'm going to applaud you for that one. That's actually pretty good. Thank you. Who says women are stupid? The Democrats do. Let's take a break. We'll be back. I got so much other stuff to get into. Plus your phone calls at 860-522-WTIC. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we are back. By the way, Eric, yes, the whole purpose, and I was trying to explain to people over at BNI, the thing that I went to, that's the whole purpose. The hats, the T-shirts, those are all a part of the campaign, that these items sort of play as a secondary character on the show, on a video version of the show. So I'm a big T-shirt guy and I'm a baseball cap guy. So if, any of the guys that are with your group, if they're interested, please, send me a T-shirt, send me a hat. Of course, I'd love to wear it. And so it is a representation of local businesses here in Connecticut, because we support local businesses, because you guys are the drivers of the economy here in the state. And the more you stay, even though I know sometimes it's hard, we want to help you stay here if we can. Let's get to some phone calls real quick before we get to the top of the hour. Russ is in Stafford Springs. How are you, Russ?
Hey, Reese. Actually, I'm in South Carolina. I moved to South Carolina.
Wow. Okay. Well, welcome to the show, and I hope it's nice and balmy down there.
It's about 60 degrees. I kind of like it.
Not bad. What do you got for me?
I have it's kind of off subject a little bit.
Okay.
I joined the Army back in 1985.
Okay.
And I did my basic training. I did my AIT, and they sent me to Germany after all of that. So it was in the beginning of '86. And this is kind of a long story. I'm sorry.
Well, I've not got that much time. Can you get to the crux of was it a point that you wanted to make, or was it a question you had?
Yes. No, I have a point to make.
Okay.
Connecticut has been a welfare state for so long, and this is a story about how long. When I first got to Germany, I had my first formation. Mm-hmm. My platoon sergeant was from Chicago, and I'm from Connecticut. Mm-hmm. And during the formation, he's like, "We got a new soldier here. He's from Connecticut. Oh, and by the way, the Chicago Bears are going to kick the Patriots' butt in the Super Bowl." I didn't care about that. Right. I'm not a Patriot. I'm not a Patriots fan.
Okay.
So, to get to the point, is after the formation, one of the soldiers came up to me. He goes, "Hey," he goes, "I'm from Puerto Rico. You're from Connecticut?" He goes, "That's where I'm going when I get out, because they got the best welfare in the country."
You know what? Listen to me. You are not the only person to tell me this story. I know this very well. Oh yeah, you're not the only one. I swear to you, I've heard that story before. Not in the military, but I have heard that story before. Somebody else was somewhere, and they told them that I can't wait to get to Connecticut because they have some of the greatest welfare in the country.
It's stuck with me ever since then. It's like that state is never going to turn around.
You want to laugh?
I don't see it.
Russ, you want to laugh? Roseanne and I just read an article a week ago, and you could probably find it online as well. Connecticut has the largest concentration in the state of Puerto Ricans.
Well, it's not so much about them.
No, I get it.
But I'm in South Carolina for a reason.
I know.
And I worked for the state. I worked for the state for 36 years, and I took off as soon as I could.
I know. I totally get it. We got Ralph from South Carolina who calls in all the time, says the same thing. I mean, he loves it up here. He listens to he listens to this station all the way down there, as I see you do, because I know that deep down inside, you guys see it as maybe one day it's sort of like this hope upon hope that maybe things will turn around in the state. And I'll be honest with you, I'm here, and I'm hoping I can bring it. I'm hoping that one way or another, we can return this place to some sense of glory.
Well, here's my opinion on that. the Titanic saw the iceberg and couldn't turn. It's going to be a long time.
Yeah, maybe I'm an idealistic fool, but you know what? I kind of look at the world from my own eyes, and I say, anytime I ever thought something wasn't possible, I never achieved it. But when I gave it hope, I always did. And so I'm giving this one hope. I understand that a lot of people have just gotten tired and it's become redundant, and I get it. I totally do. But maybe, I don't know, maybe I am a fool. But then again, you kind of need a fool to run into that kind of, mayhem and see if they can turn it around. Sometimes in order to get change, you need fools.
Hey, Reese, I listen to you as much as I can because you're the hope. So,
oh, man.
I would love to see Aaron Stewart get in there. Who knows?
Hey, we're going to listen, the objective is, and I say this to everybody, have your candidate. It could be Aaron, it could be Ryan, it could be Betsy, it could be whomever, but let's go. We've got one goal. Lamont's got to go. That's the only goal right now. He has got to go.
Lamont and all of his cronies.
Indeed. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it, man. Good talking to you. Have a wonderful weekend.
Take care, Reese. You too.
Thank you, man. All right, we'll take the rest of these calls. Guys, stay on the line. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to grab you later. Let's get to the WTIC newsroom. John Silva is getting you there, and it's Reese on the radio. We'll be back.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
By the way, later on in the program, I've got to talk about these petitions that are out there. One, of course, that exists now is the 5044 House bill. That is an important one, but I got a conversation today with someone who said that one of the other things that we need to be focusing on is also about the public benefits charge. We need to get a petition out there for that. If there's someone who has a petition out there on that about getting rid of the public benefits charge, let me know where it is, because we have got to get that petition signed as well so we can let these lawmakers know that we've got to put an end to that. That money is not benefiting anybody, but a bunch of bureaucrats and a bunch of other cronies. So do what you can. Let me know where. Just let me know where, if there's a place to sign a petition for the public benefits charge so I can get it out to the masses. Let me get to the phones real quick, a little early this time. Kimberly is on the line. Hello, Kimberly.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. What did you say during the break about NPR?
Well, no, I'm working with my editor to do something about the singing, and it was hilarious because there was about 30 people there in NPR, and he's sitting there filming everything. They did a handshake, they clapped. It was the total, I love you, you love me type of thing, and he kind of celebrated it. And then I asked him point blank, this is why you guys lost the funding. And here in Connecticut, I don't have my notebook in front of me with my notes, so if I'm off on numbers, please forgive me. But in Connecticut's NPR lost about 20%.
Yeah.
And where nationally they lost 1% to 2% when President Trump cut the funding.
Yeah.
So if they're still getting all their money from individuals who donate and all these other corporates and manipulating things. But my question for him is, they're all, it's all typical, clickbait likes, all that crap.
Right.
And he's sitting there stroking these people, which is basically anti-ICE people, and they're they're teaching people how to sing a song about justice. They're taking one of the classic protest songs, and then they're taking.
Are they making them sing which side? Are they making them sing which side are you on, boy? Which side are? That's my favorite one.
I just downloaded the whole thing. If you want to go listen to what happened at the whole thing.
Okay.
But here's the question I went to him to. I'm like, you're in front of the courthouse, and you're singing a song about justice for people who were arrested for crimes. Mm-hmm. These are not people being pulled out of your lawn places or businesses or factories. These are people in the federal courthouse who've committed crimes. And I asked him, point blank, are you going up and talking to the victim and asking the victim how they feel when you have these interfaith people using freedom songs that have come from the civil rights era to say these people who committed horrible crimes, and I don't have my notes in front of me, so I'm apologizing to whoever's listening to this, but I named, the people in Waterbury who got arrested for drugs and guns and all that stuff, and then you have the guy in Stanford who killed the baby, and then you have people who have, done the unspeakable crimes. Are you talking to the victims about how they feel when these clergymen are all outside using the civil rights moment to justify singing this bad person shouldn't be thrown out of the country?
Yeah, it's insane.
I asked, are you going to the other side? And he's like, they have to come to me.
Wow.
And I told him, but you came to them. You're doing all these articles, and I'm already doing the research to see how many times. And it seems like every time he talked to, the other side, they get a non-comment, and that's how he's doing it. Wow. But that's going to be the article. So,
well, I can't wait.
Who follows me, you're going to look forward to that. What I wanted to go back to is what you were talking about with voting with the SAVE Act.
Yeah.
Here in Connecticut, I do know people who have trouble getting ID, and the trouble ID is not caused because they're stupid. But
okay, right. I'm sorry. I appreciate your honesty.
Well, no, because they're all being taken care by nonprofits, and nonprofits make a fortune off of taking care of these people. Instead of moving them to a better place, they're literally setting them up for failure. I mean, there is a homeless woman who I know has been begging the nonprofits for her ID after she got robbed. Now, she's got dementia. She's, and her ID was stolen. Now, here's the question is, the nonprofits here in the state of Connecticut average $44,000 per homeless person.
That's correct.
And they do nothing. Yeah, that's my research.
No, you're 100% right. Your research aligns with mine. I looked that up as well. They get that. It's a considerable amount of money. I thought it was lower than that, and I double-checked, and you're right. It's over $4,000. And here's the greatest part about this, Kimberly, is that their success rate is minuscule. It's unheard of. It's like zero.
Well, no, the problem is they actually set up people for failure. And I have documentation for that. Going back to the woman without the ID, I'm telling you, they set her up for failure. She's missing part of her feet. Wow. She is having dementia, and she was dumped by her family outside. So this is not a drug addict or a criminal or anything like this. This is part of the 1/3 who is over 55 who are not getting services. And I hated calling her dumb because she does have mental health issues and she can't get the ID. But the problem is we have all these nonprofits who make money off of helping these people. Instead of helping them, they set them up for failure.
But you're right about this point. And the crux of what you're saying is that that's right. We have NGOs that are funded by state dollars, tax dollars. And those tax dollars in the millions could be doing the thing that Democrats are saying these individuals, these poor, underserved communities, what they could be doing, especially on Election Day, because it's important to the NGOs to keep these people in power so that they continue to be funded, to use that money as an effort to make sure that their IDs are proper.
Well, you want to hear something crazy. The only people who can get their ID properly through these NGOs are illegal.
Yes.
And they would go through one of these, Heritage Foundation or one of these other organizations, and they will jump through hoops to get you your ID. If you're somebody else, they won't. Now, she's not the only one I knew had problems with her ID. There's another gentleman. He was released from incarceration. He lives in a tent. He has a hard time getting his ID.
Sure.
Granted, voting is a non-issue with him because he was incarcerated.
Okay.
But his ID shouldn't cost more than $10, $15 and just have somebody notarize it.
Right.
That's all he needs. He has asked these nonprofits just to notarize the paperwork so he can get his ID. And they're all like, we can't do that. Nope. And it's like, they sign this list so we can count you, so we can justify you for the funding.
Oh, wow.
But they won't do what they're supposed to do. And here's the crazy thing is, here in Connecticut, we're supposed to have rapid rehousing. If we ran rapid rehousing properly, we would have people housed for 2 years, financed everything, getting people permanently off of these issues instead of keep funding them through these programs.
Indeed.
For $29,000 a year per homeless person rather than $44,000 a year per homeless person. But we won't do that.
Yeah.
And Lamont and all these other nonprofits, they come up with these crazy notions like 20,000 people are not going to be able to vote if we do the SAVE Act. The SAVE Act is not going to throw people off the vote. It's the fact that you guys do everything in your power to maximize money and do as little good as possible.
That's right.
And
so that they can, again, so they can ask for more money the next round of giving, if you will, because they haven't solved the problem in the first place, which is, again, the intent. So.
Right. Why I call this, and if you read my article about Champagne Socialists and Country Club Republicans, where I called our economic way is we're just chattel. Yeah. We're just counted just so they can justify our money. Now, here's the problem that I'm having with this, what nobody is talking about, what I don't understand is Lamont just opened up our emergency rainy day fund.
Yeah.
To basically fund these bad programs. And the reason why it is his slush fund to keep himself in office.
That's exactly what it is. And it's so funny because that money had been sitting there forever, and now all of a sudden it's been sitting there for a while. And, of course, he waits until the election year after he announces that finally, hey, guys, there's some money up for grabs. Kimberly, I got to grab some other ones, but I thank you so much. I appreciate all of that info. And I will check out your article, okay?
Thank you.
You got it. Is that somebody who's trying to get on? Is that an important one, Roland? He's on the phone there. Here I am asking him, and he can't tell me. Let me go to Mike, who's in... No, I'm sorry. I got to go Bill. Bill is in North Carolina. I promised him next. How are you, Bill? Thanks for holding.
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. What you got?
I heard last week you were talking about the movie Dirty Dancing. I just thought I'll let you know that it was filmed here in Rutherford County, North Carolina, in the Chimney Rock, Lake Lore area.
Now, the lake, I watched the documentary. The lake no longer exists. All the water's evaporated.
Yep, it was from Helene.
Yeah, that's so sad. I mean, during the documentary, one of the producers walks down to the area where they're practicing in the water, the big famous, I guess the picking baby up scene where he picks her up and she runs to him. But there's a place inside the river where it takes place. She's standing there and it's all dry. It looks so bad. Do you live close to that area?
Well, of course, it's like I have to look up to find out how many miles it is. But it's pretty close to here in the community called Cane Creek. It's like we're closer to Rutherfordton, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. But it's Rutherford County, is the same size as Rhode Island.
Oh, wow. And was it a retreat of sorts? Was it like a little, what do you call it, like a resort?
Yeah, it was a resort. A lot of people come and vacation there. It's a really nice area.
Wow. My thing is, I've watched the movie, of course, a bunch of times. If you've ever dated a girl, you have to watch the movie a few times. But I was just admitting that I loved the soundtrack. It was one of my favorite soundtracks that I kept on repeat, and I got a lot of hell for it just because I said that I listened to it, even though the album is solid, beginning to end, and people were giving me crap for it, saying that I had to give up my man card. So, but thank you. Are you originally from Connecticut?
Yeah, Andover. We came down in 1989, and it was 2 years after the movie was in the theaters.
Oh, wow.
That's when we moved down to North Carolina. You could tell from my accent.
I totally can. But listen, I'm just thankful that even though you moved out of state, you still check out WTIC. That means there's so many people out of state who still listen to the station.
Yeah. A lot of friends I know down here never heard of WTIC.
Well, what a perfect time for you to spread the word, sir.
Yeah.
We appreciate you, Bill. Thank you so much for holding. Let me grab, now I can go to Mike and Thomas then. Hello, Mike.
So that excuse they're using about the birth certificates?
Yeah.
Connecticut, most of the towns now are digital. So you don't need to go to the original town to get it anymore.
Yeah, meaning you can get it online.
No, you can go to any town hall
and
they can pull it from their original town.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because you're right, because everything is digital, and all they have to do is go into the database and get it. I remember I got my birth certificate online, and for some odd reason I couldn't find it at home. It was in one of our files, and I went on the New York website to get my birth certificate, and sure enough, it was there, and they mailed it.
Yeah, I don't think they mail it here, but I was able to get my son, my 17-year-old's, just by going here to Thomaston. They were able to pull it out of Bristol.
Now, let me ask you an obvious question here. So you had to find a birth certificate for your 17-year-old. I'm assuming it's because you lost it. Did you lose it in like a move, or you just misplaced it?
I'm a pothead, so I have no clue where I lost it.
Okay. So there's a likelihood you still have it in the house.
Yeah, I probably got 2 or 3 of them now.
How long did it take you to replace it?
Minutes.
There you go. That's all you need to, you know what? That's all you need to say. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Anyone that can't figure that out ate leaded paint chips as a child.
You're absolutely right. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you. That's so true.
Have a good one.
You got it. He's so honest. Go ahead, Roland.
Yeah, I just got my birth certificate last October. Oh, no, last September.
Last September. We were talking just months ago.
Yeah, so
at least 4 months ago.
Yeah.
How did you lose it?
The only thing I had was the little small one. But to get your passport, you have to have the regular long.
You have to have the long form.
Yeah.
Yes, the one Obama doesn't have.
Yeah, so.
Sorry.
So I had to get that from Louisiana.
Wait a minute. Did you have to get it in Louisiana, or did you have it sent to you?
I had it. Well, originally they said I can go through the process.
Okay.
And that took a day, and then once they get all my information and I send them a copy of my license and all of that stuff, they said it's going to take 50 days. 50? Yep. So I didn't have 50 days because I was trying to get my passport before the year was ended.
Where were you going?
Well, we were supposed to go on a cruise in January, but it didn't happen.
Oh, okay.
But so I was trying to get all of that stuff done before then.
Uh-huh.
So I just ended up calling my uncle down there, and he had a friend that worked in that department.
Really?
And I just told him I needed my long form. Could he just go pick it up for me? And he went and picked it up and overnighted it to me. So
look at you. I've got friends in low.
But otherwise, I would have had to wait 50 days, up to 50 days.
Damn. I wouldn't have waited that long.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time. You know, we used to wait that long to get a driver's license in New York.
Oh, really?
Oh, man, it was crazy. You in New York City, even to get a learner's permit or just a regular ID, New York City, again, a town with 8 million people. You go to the DMV, by the way, you have to actually take a vacation day in order to sit through DMV.
Yep.
You sit there in the DMV, you get there at 7 o'clock in the morning to only enter at 8, maybe 9 o'clock in the morning. You're there until 5 o'clock in the morning with all the places you have to go. Then they send all your information to Albany, which that goes through that bureaucracy. And maybe, if you're lucky, 7 weeks later, you get it back.
Wow.
7 weeks later. And guess what? It takes 4 weeks for them to mail you the temporary version of it, which in essence is a piece of paper with your ID info before you get the actual license.
Jeez.
In New York. Yeah, it's insanity. Insanity over there. I'm like, you guys just can't make the ID here. It's like, nope, it's got to go to Albany and get the right stamps. Yeah, of course, they didn't want me to vote.
Yeah.
That's probably why. Okay, let me see if I can take one more. I'll take John in Meriden real quick. What's going on, John?
Hello.
Hey, John, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right. What do you got?
Hey, I wanted to ask you about Epstein. Quick question.
Yep.
We hear all about all of the issues and the awful things that happen to those women. Has anyone ever asked where their parents were?
Ooh. I haven't.
I can't get any answers for that.
I have such an answer for you. You are not going to believe it. And thank you for bringing it up. This is why I love this show. because in the next break, I want to talk about that. Scott Jennings said something amazing on CNN yesterday, and I found evidence that what he said is not only true, but for some odd reason, no one is taking up for him. Do you know what's congressional immunity? Do you know what that is?
Yes. Yeah, it means they get away with everything, yes.
That's right. It means that if you are on the floor of Congress and you are in the midst of debate, no matter what you say, you can never be charged criminally or civilly for it, even if it's a bold-faced lie about anyone. Do you remember?
And they do it all the time.
That's right. Do you remember who was the last person to flat out lie, most famously, to lie on the Senate floor during arguments? In fact, he had made up the claim totally and then bragged about how it worked. Do you remember who it was?
I do not.
Harry Reid. Harry Reid, former Senate Majority Leader, sat on the Senate floor and said Mitt Romney did not pay his taxes, and he had proof of it. And he never had it at all. And it was a bold-faced lie, and Romney should have been able to sue, but he had congressional immunity. That's why he said it.
Yeah, that's, even without congressional immunity, that flies all the time. If you've been listening at all to Bondi's hearings, there were an amazing amount of slanderous, nasty, bold-faced lies there.
Absolutely. And when we come back, I'm going to play that for you. I'm going to play Scott Jennings, and I'm going to play the Harry Reid piece as well. So stand by for that. And great timing to bring that up.
One thing, I'm living in Florida now, but I listen to you every day.
Oh, thank you, man. Goodness gracious. Maybe we should be syndicated.
Maybe so.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. Have a great one.
Thanks, buddy.
You got it. Let's take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views, and more on this Epstein thing when we return. It's Reese on the Radio.
Listen to WTIC News Talk 1080 on the free Odyssey app. Download and like WTIC today for alerts on special programming.
Thank you. And the haters are in the building. Thank you, haters. Always love it when you're here. Y'all never show up on time. Oh, that applause was horrible. You never show up on time. Please, haters, show up on time. I got Steve L., who's always here. He shows up. He goes, it's good hearing Chris on the show again. It's refreshing hearing someone who actually has a clue what music is. Anyone familiar with Fate's Warning knows what's up. Maybe he could educate Reese. Are you familiar with the band he's talking about?
Yeah, I mentioned that band the last time I was
here.
The
last time you were here. You made a big deal out of them.
Band, progressive heavy metal.
So progressive heavy metal.
I'll play you some stuff later.
Okay, I told Steve, I said, why are you always hating and here? For someone who seems to hate the host, you keep coming back. Should I be flattered? I don't know. I don't know if I should be flattered, but thank you, Steve. I always appreciate you. And thank you for loving or at least appreciating my guest and my good friend, Chris B., for being here. Let me read this to you real quick. Article 1, Section 6, Clause 1 of the U.S. Constitution. They shall, in all cases except treason, felony, and breach of the peace, be privileged from arrest during their attendance at the session of their respective houses, and in going to and returning from the same, and for any speech or debate in either house, they shall not be questioned in any other place. And that is the speech clause or the debate clause. Article 1, Section 6, Clause 1 of the U.S. Constitution. And it was famous because it was Harry Reid who said that Mitt Romney doesn't pay taxes.
So the word's out that he hasn't paid any taxes for 10 years. Let him prove that he has paid taxes, because he hasn't. We already know from one partial tax return that he gave us, he has money hidden in Bermuda, the Cayman Islands, and a Swiss bank account.
So he was allowed to say that, and he was asked on CNN about that. Everybody knew he lied. And what did Harry Reid say when he was challenged on it and the lies he told in that same speech about the Koch brothers? Here's what he told, I think it was Dana Bash.
So no regrets about Mitt Romney, about the Koch brothers. Some people have even called it McCarthyite.
Well, they call it whatever they want. Romney didn't win, did he?
Yeah, Romney didn't win. Why should anybody care? They could call it whatever they want. And you know what? Why not? It was a dirty trick, but he had the right to do it. Which is why I bring this up, because Scott Jennings and CNN and MS Now and everybody else is screaming and hollering. Even people who listen to the show, the Epstein files, why don't they release them? Why won't they tell everybody? Well, there's a reason for that. But before we get to that, I want to play what Scott Jennings said on CNN. But I want you to listen to the host and what she says when Scott Jennings makes this revelation about Article 1, Section 6, Clause 1.
Down to the House floor more, or go out into the public domain and say, here are the men who need to be investigated. That's where I think most Americans are. Why can't we just skip to the part where the people who have the information say out loud, this person did this thing?
That's a good point. Congress can go out there. They've seen the documents. They know who's there. The stuff's been unredacted. They have the names. But won't go down to the Senate floor and say their names. And the crazy part about it is, again, people like this host, this woman, Katie Hunt, whatever her name is from CNN, she's one of those people too. She was just screaming during this segment, talking about what type of crap is this? We should know everything. We should know everything. And here's Scott Jennings saying, you know what? These people have immunity. They can get down to the floor and name the people who've done this stuff wrong, but listen to her.
To me, and this is a crime.
Well, in a lot of cases, they're not allowed to because.
See? Well, in a lot of cases, they're not allowed to say anything. So my question is, do they want to reveal the people who've done it, or do they not? I don't think they do. Here's what they want, and you all know it. They only want one name revealed, and that's Trump's. They can make all the excuses in the world, but they can't. Here's Scott Jennings from the beginning again. Listen to the whole thing.
Members of Congress can go down to the House floor and say anything they want.
Well,
and there are members of Congress who have claimed, Ro Khanna is one, Thomas Massey is one, they have claimed to have names. And I don't know why we're not actually seeing that right now, to be honest.
I don't know. And again, they are protected by the Constitution to say it. They should go out there and say it. But here's the part. Here's the ugly part. So if you watched the hearings with Pam Bondi yesterday, you may have noticed that there were women in the background. Some of them even stood up. They were asked to stand up. And these people in the back are victims, allegedly, of Jeffrey Epstein. But some eagle-eyed reporter noticed something. And these people, by the way, are the most vocal. These are the people who show up at all the hearings. These are the people who were featured in the Super Bowl ad that aired about Jeffrey Epstein. And they all openly talk about the abuse that they suffered under Jeffrey Epstein. But just one thing never comes out. Sure, the year that the abuse comes out, yeah, they bring that up all the time. Some of them, 2001. Some of them, 2002. Some of them, 2000. Little more than 20 years ago. Still one small problem. Turns out that each of those women who were at that hearing standing behind Pam Bondi, who was supposed to be there for the Democrats, were above the age of 20 during the times of the abuse. Now, it isn't to say that the abuse was wrong, that because they were of age, that this coded discounts. If they were abused, they were abused. It doesn't matter what age it was. But it is interesting that no one mentions that. It is interesting because, again, this is about crimes that individuals were involved in that involved underage children, and yet they have the names and they won't come out there and say them. Or the other side of this is that these women are documented victims who say that they were trafficked, who say that they were abused, and they know who their abusers are, but yet will not reveal the names either? Out of fear of what? Of retribution? See, the thing you're not supposed to talk about, and this is the problem here, you're not supposed to talk about it, is why is that? You're not supposed to ask the question. And I keep asking myself, why not? Everyone says that they want the truth. The scary part about this is that it always seems to be this isolation of what is truth. It's this, that, it's the third. It might be this. We can only talk about that. There are these parameters. Can't go here. Can't go there. And Scott Jennings brings it out. Look, these people say that they have the names. And again, they have the immunity to do so. They are Congress. They do care about these victims. They wish to get this out. What's stopping them? And look, White Mike calls up here all the time. He's called up here a couple of times this week, and he said it. And again, love him or hate him, White Mike is 100% over the mark here. A lot of these people can't say anything. Oh, they can come right up to the line and talk all the mess in the world. Yeah, they don't care. They're never going to reveal. They're hiding something. And then they go, come on, go out there and just tell everybody. And then they go, well, because they're frauds. Because they're frauds. There's also that other thing. It was like, we don't care who it was. If they were down, if they did anything, I want them under the jail. Okay, good. You have immunity to reveal who it was. Tell us. Well, you're not supposed to say that. And that's why I see these people who get into the chat rooms and always want to scream and holler about Epstein this and Epstein that. They're like, I don't care. I'm like, okay, really? Get your representative to do it. Guess what? Every one of your favorite representatives can do it. Where's Maxine Waters? Can't she reveal it? She's got a loud mouth. Where is she? What about Hakeem Jeffries? That's your boy from Brooklyn. That's Timu Obama. He can't seem to stop talking about the Epstein files. Why can't he get down here? He's probably one of the most popular Democrats there is. Where's Chucky Schumer? Hell, where's AOC? I mean, they are all vying. I mean, especially AOC. They're vying to win 2026, if not 2028. I mean, if you really want to do some damage, if you really want to do some damage to a party and you think it's the Republicans, boy, imagine all of the credibility you can run with, fundraise off of. If you just go down to that Senate floor and you just say, he did it, and he did it, and he did it, and, oh, she did it? Yeah, that's the other thing. If you have been paying attention, it has been revealed that there are plenty of women involved as well. That's right, folks. You thought it was just Ghislaine Maxwell. But if you've been paying attention, and I know you haven't, there's a dirty secret that there were men and women involved. And from what we're revealing, some of the people who are calling themselves victims were involved. There's a little known story in all of this, and I'll tell you briefly. It's that Jeffrey Epstein was a cunning son of a gun. And in order to keep people from talking, he got them involved in his little shenanigans, which made them guilty of the same crime. Well, what do you expect out of 3 million documents? What do you think it was going to be cut and dry? 3 million documents, there's a lot of twists and turns. Now, it wasn't like I didn't tell you a long time ago as you people tried to inundate me with the whole Epstein this. You don't want to talk about it, Reese. You don't want me to talk about the Epstein files, but I told you that. I warned you then, and I keep warning you. You don't want me to talk about it because I told you, take your time, relax, and all will reveal itself. And when it does, you'll be running for the hills, which is exactly what all of you have done. Now, I know a lot of you think you're bold. No, I want to know. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because what's been revealed already, you won't touch. There is so much dirt. There's so much going on behind the scenes. It's not just the creepy sex stuff. There's a lot of other stuff that's going on that you don't even want to look at, that you have actually sort of shielded yourself from, pretending it's not there, but it's there, and it's ugly, and it really exposes exactly the world that you're living in. And guess what, folks? Truth be told, you're finally realizing that everything you've ever known about it is not real. It's like waking up out of the Matrix, and you're Neo. Hell, in some ways, I'm Neo, because I got to read this stuff too. And some of this stuff I can't unsee. And some of this stuff I got to go, no. I don't even want to read that. Moving on. So you guys talk a good game. But guess what? You were warned. You open up this can of worms. There are worms everywhere. Oh, and trust me, they are hungry. We'll be back. It's Reese on the radio.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back, and let me see. In the next hour, what do I have? Oh, yes, we have to get into it. We will break down the Negro drivers. Now, you're saying to yourself, what the heck does that mean, Reese? Well, if you looked it up, it does not mean Morgan Freeman and driving Miss Daisy. It's not that. It is so different from that. And it's something I knew was out there. I felt it. And I started researching it today, and then Roseanne started researching it today, and then we found all of this information about it, and it's so interesting in our political sphere today. So I'm going to lay that out in a little bit. So stand by for that real quick after, of course, the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Also, we've got Negro Nonsense coming up, as well as music news, which I'm going to have a debate with Chris B. here about, because it's a great story that came out of the New York Post today that involves Gene Simmons. And I think it's worth a conversation. So some of you music folks will probably want to get into this conversation at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Speaking of out of state, Mr. Ralph is in South Carolina. How are you, sir?
Good, Reese. Couple things. First of all, Reese, did the Democrats control the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and they could have released all the Epstein files?
Absolutely. They could have released all of them, even to stop Donald Trump, because they pulled out all the stops that they could in 2024. And for some odd reason, that wasn't part of the treasure trove of things to put an end to him.
Well, that should tell anybody with half a brain that there was nothing there, but there was stuff there about some Democrats. But the main reason I called, Reese, was they talk about obviously having have a ID for voting.
Yeah.
Now, all those people they claim have been denied voting because of IDs.
Mm-hmm.
Those same people cannot get on an airplane, can they?
Nope, absolutely not.
They cannot go to a liquor store. They cannot buy liquor, can they?
Nope, absolutely not.
They cannot go into a restaurant and have a drink with their dinner, can
absolutely not. Not if they can't provide an ID.
They cannot buy a cell phone. My son just got a new cell phone. He had to show his ID to get his cell phone.
Really? Now that I didn't know.
Yes, that's a fact. So all this stuff that, they're talking about.
Hey, go one step further. How about this one? Try this on for size. They claim that the people who definitely would be affected are the poor folks. So my question is, I would assume those poor folks are on some form of assistance provided by the federal, if not state government, right?
And they would need an ID.
Yes, they would. So if they can't even provide that for their basic needs like food, water, what do you call it, Medicaid for, if they get sick. I mean, all of these things are going to require them to be able to identify themselves so they can receive these benefits. You would imagine photo ID had to be in their, past in order to get them.
The bottom line, Reese, is the Democrats do not want to have only citizens voting. They have to have everybody who is not a citizen vote because they know that 99% of those people will vote for Democrats.
Yep.
And in my mind, what they have to do, like I'm here in South Carolina, when I go vote, I need to show my ID. Every state should have the same thing and just prove that you're a citizen and that you are eligible to vote. If you don't have that, you can't vote.
Well, what I'm hoping here's what I'm hoping, and I think it'll happen in Connecticut, and it's going to be kind of confusing. Actually, I got to talk about it later. Ralph, let me go. I got to get to some weather and traffic, buddy, but I appreciate you.
Have a great night, Reese.
Thank you, man. You too. Let's get to that. Traffic and weather's coming up. Tom O'Hanlon is here. He is in BPS Lawyers Traffic Center for Mark Christopher.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Okay, stand by. Very, very soon we're going to do Negro nonsense. I know you love it when we do that. So we'll do that. Someone sent me another great story about Negro nonsense, and it has turned into an earworm, as it were. No, you're not listening to me. It's okay. No, someone sent me a message about Negro nonsense saying that they were singing it when they were going to bed. They said it's an earworm. So I said, I love the fact that people sing it when they go to bed or just whenever they're doing their chores. It means everything to me that they do it. So we'll do that up in a second. Stand by for that. And this one's a good one. This one's from the New York Post over the weekend. We'll get that done as well. Also coming up, we'll talk about black drivers, or as they were referred to in the 1800s, Negro drivers. What are they, and how do they apply today? Well, I don't know why, but history has a tendency to repeat itself, and we did a whole bunch of research on it this morning, and we'll have that for you, and it is amazing what we learned about that. Also, I've got EV news that also is important because of what the Ford CEO has finally admitted, and it has everything to do with you. Plus, we're going to have a debate. It is a music news debate between myself and Chris B. about a story in the New York Post that involves Gene Simmons of the super group or rock group Kiss. An article that he wrote. So we'll talk to him, Chris B., about that. He's hanging out with us today. And we'll talk about a whole bunch of other things as well. Peter says, I think the real reason they don't want voter ID is because once we do that, the total numbers of votes cast for Democrats will be significantly lower, suggesting years of fraud and abuse. They'll claim the lower numbers prove voter suppression. They are laying the groundwork for that right now. It's a great point. That is, and again, it's the fact is that I would make that claim if I were a Democrat without all the nonsense about women who can't change their birth certificate nonsense. I wouldn't have thrown any of that in the game. I wouldn't have done the whole black people in rural areas would not be able to get a driver's license. I wouldn't have muddied the waters with all of that ridiculousness. But they did. So now the voter suppression thing has no weight. Calling it things like Jim Crow 2.0, looking for catchphrases. Those things mean nothing now. That's why nobody's going to care. But anyway, we'll get to Negro nonsense when we return. Let's get to another check of traffic and weather. Tom O'Hanlon is in for Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right.
How dare you? How dare you?
This Negro Nonsense is brought to you by Negro Nonsense, a company by the name of Burdell. Well, it's actually a restaurant. It's the acclaimed Oakland soul food restaurant. It was recently named America's Best Food and Wine in 2025. And a Michelin Guide standout. And it sparked widespread outrage after customers discovered a note on receipts explaining an automatic 20% gratuity charge as a way to move beyond the ugly past of tipping customers rooted in unpaid labor. The message printed on the bottom of every check reads, quote, tipping in the U.S. has an ugly past, allowing the continuation of unpaid labor. We don't like that history. Included in your check is a 20% service charge, which we use to pay hourly staff a consistent and livable wage. not dependent on archaic tipping, customers, or chance. No need to add anything else. Thank you. A now deleted viral Reddit post in the End Tipping subreddit shared a photo of the receipt, drawing over 28,000 upvotes and igniting backlash. Critics flooded Yelp with one-star reviews, many accusing the restaurant of pushing a woke agenda, failing to disclose the fee up front, though it noted it on the menu, or injecting politics into dining. Some called for boycotts, labeled the policy performative, and attacked the food and service in unrelated complaints. Others accused it of virtue signaling or alienating customers amid broader frustrations with fees, DEI initiatives, and cultural debates. Chef owner Jeff Davis defended the policy in interviews and on Instagram, emphasizing transparency and equity. He has long argued that tipping perpetuates inequality, tracing its American origins to post-slavery exploitation of black workers and describing it as a barrier to fair pay. It is, quote, something that we need to do away with as a country. Honestly, ending tipping is part of our healing from slavery, he says, and continued racism. That is the insanity. What are you doing? Are you looking it up? Of course she is. Roseanne is at it. That's your Negro nonsense. Now, hold on, folks. I don't want to lose you. What did you have? Hold on.
Tipping originated in Europe in the middle 16th century.
Okay, in the middle. Okay, well, I'm sure it did. Anyway, that's not important. This is important. So I asked you folks if you knew what black drivers were or Negro drivers were. And what they are or what they were is very significant. Let me explain. Black drivers, sometimes called Negro drivers, were black overseers. Sometimes they were called just drivers. They were enslaved black men, almost always men. Through rare exceptions, women existed, but who were put in charge of supervising gangs of field slaves. They were the top boss. That was usually a white observer of the plantation owner. But on large plantations, think 50-plus slaves, common for cotton, rice, and sugar, in places like South Carolina, Georgia, Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi, drivers handled the day-to-day grind in fields. Their job? Directing labor, leading work gangs from sunup to sundown, plowing, hoeing, picking cotton, harvesting rice or cane, enforcing quotas, making sure that everyone hit their daily targets, picking 200 to 400 pounds of cotton per person, discipline and punishment, carrying a whip, often bull whips or cowhides, and using it on slaves who fell behind or shirked their responsibilities if they talked back or broke the rules. Whoopings could be brutal. Laceration, scars for life, sometimes 50 to 100 lashes. Drivers reported to the white overseer every evening. Other duties were overseeing tools, distributing food rations, sometimes handling minor medical stuff, or even leading prayers, hymns to keep morale and obedience up. The setup was most common in the late 1700s through the antebellum peak, the 1820s and 1860s, especially on absentee-owned plantations where the white owner lived elsewhere. Common in white rice swamp areas due to disease. Laws sometimes required white overseers, but planters shirked them by elevating trusted black drivers, cheaper and more reliable since drivers knew the land, crops, and the people intimately. Why did white owners use these black drivers? Pure strategy. Classic divide and conquer. Shifted the ugliest brutality of white hands. A white overseer might order punishment, but the driver delivered it, easing the owner's conscience or reducing direct resentment towards white. They broke solidarity among slaves, keeping a hierarchy within the enslaved community, making organized resistance harder. Practical. It was practical because drivers were often stronger in body and mind, selected for physical strength, intelligence, reliability, leadership. They worked in fields themselves growing up, so they understood pacing and tricks slaves used to slow down. They were also cost-effective. No salary or for a driver, just minor privileges, like hiring white observers who were more expensive or drunken or unreliable. It was easier to hire the Negro driver because he took, food and other things. Historians like Eugene Genovese and William Vandenberg, in their book, The Slave Drivers, they nailed this. It wasn't about elevating blacks out of kindness. It was control. Drivers were still property. Could be whipped, sold, or demoted at any whim. They also got privileges like better housing, extra food, a horse or a mule to ride while overseeing. Sometimes their family got lighter work or protection. Authority that gave a share of status. Now, folks, I went and looked this up, and I said, can we equate who the Negro drivers would be today who would fit this bill? And I got a list. Black supervisors, a.k.a. foremen, were often called the whipping boss due to their ability to wield discipline. Black men, sometimes women, 30 to 40 years of age, occasionally older, chosen for intelligence, physical presence, management skills, leadership abilities. Who today would fall under these categories? Let's start with people like Martin Luther King Jr. Yeah, he's on the list. Or more recent, Hakeem Jeffries. Historical figures like those endorsing moderate white candidates for progressive black ones, accused of protecting status quo of white supremacy under liberal democratic guises. This according to the Hampton Institute in 2020. How about Ibram X. Kendi or Nicole Hannah Jones? Both of these people wrote Anti-Racism and the 1619 Project. They write here, elite black intellectuals who critique white racism but operate within liberal institutions, e.g., universities and major media, like Nicole Hannah Jones's 1619 Project, which was inside the New York Times, a white-dominated institution. Critics argue they seek inclusion in white-dominated systems rather than black nationalism or separation. But the piece de resistance of the black driver, they say that this individual embodied integrationist politics and alliances with white liberal elites. Some view him as proof of black advancement, requiring white approval and liberal frameworks, not independent black power like Malcolm X inspired. That person is none other than Barack Hussein Obama. Oh, yes, baby. Yes, black liberals are nothing more than the Negro drivers. You dare step off the plantation, and the white man will send the Negro driver out to whip you. Get back here, boy! Don't you get off that plantation, boss! He trying to leave. He trying to run. He trying to run. Go get him, boy. Go hunt him down. Bring him back here. Don't you let him escape. He can't have his freedom. I know. Sounds harsh, but I don't care. But I've been telling you this for the longest. I've been telling you this forever. I've heard these knuckleheads scream and holler all day, every day. Sellout, sellout. We know who the sellouts are. All I had to do was look it up. Negro drivers aligned with identifying with their white masters and sought to further his interest. And that's who they are. Look at them. Who's Barack Obama serving? Come on. Ain't Barack Obama supporting everything in the liberal agenda? This Negro had the audacity to tell the brothers how to act. Whoopsh. You better vote for Kamala Harris. Whoopsh. You better get your black behind in line. Whoopsh. You better support that black woman. She like you. Whoopsh. Year later. Could you guys support Abigail Spamberger? Yes. No, I know what I said last year about the black woman, but Abigail's good. She's a good white lady. It'd be nice if you make her the governor of Virginia. Absolutely. Yeah, but support one of your own? No. Well, don't go nuts, okay? Winsome Sears? No. She's not really black. She's Jamaican. Yeah, she's Jamaican. That's not black. Negro drivers. I just want to let you know, because I know you're going to be there in the chat room. I know you're going to be here writing letters to my bosses and all that stuff. Can you believe what that boy said? Yeah. Go run tell Whitey. Go run and tell him. You hurry up there. You find every white man and white woman you can, and you go run tell. I want you to. I want to see you do it. I want to read all the emails. I want to hear you saying, did you hear what he said, Massa? Did you hear what he said on the radio, Massa? You can't go for that, Massa. He disobeying. He ain't falling in line. Oh, I know. But don't worry about it, kids. I will not be giving speeches at the Audubon in Harlem, and I won't be standing on the balcony at the Lorraine Motel anytime soon, if you catch my drift. Nah, I mean, okay? That's all I'm trying to say. So all that complaining, that's laughed at. That's okay. You run tell Massa. Okay? You hurry up now. You tell him what I done did. Go get him, boy. Oh, yes. Sorry. I got to go. Let's take a break. When we come back, more news, more views. I want to talk about this SUV thing when we return. Yes, the SUV is over. Ford told us so. Remember that whole Lightning thing? It was a joke. It was a clown. They lost billions. We'll break all that down to you when we return. Of course, by the way, if any of you want to, call up, you can, okay? And, just it's 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Or you can send me a really, really mean message about how I'm stepping out of line at ReeseOnTheRadio.com. Holla!
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I don't know why I didn't forget to. I usually remember to keep that thing off. Anyway, when we come back, we're going to talk about the Ford CEO who is admitting that the customer has spoken about electric vehicles. And, of course, because of the Lee Zeldin and Donald Trump presser that happened a couple of hours ago, or maybe even an hour ago, which in essence is going to get rid of an old Obama-era EPA rule, which is in essence going to release $1.3 trillion into the economy, Lamont is naturally upset about it. So we'll talk about what his comments are. And, of course, what's his name? William Tong is ready to sue, which, again, I can't. You know what's so interesting about this? And we'll talk about this on the other side. But this is the part that I can't seem to understand. So I think there was a story the other day about – Chris, did you hear about this story about apparently there were all of these people who had been the Better Business Bureau had found out about all these people who had been swindled out of millions of dollars or something like that in the state. Did you hear anything about that?
What was the scam?
I don't remember what the scam was, but I know there was some scam that was going on that where all of these people, and William Tong was like talking about how he was going to sort of go after the companies who were behind this scam. But the bottom line was, I found out that there were plenty of people who were talking to his office for the longest, saying that this scam was going on, and he ignored it. And why? Because the guy was never, ever, he was just not even asleep at the wheel. He was just away from the car because he was too busy running all of these campaigns against Donald Trump. He's got bragging about 42, 45 lawsuits against the Trump administration, doing nothing in the state of Connecticut while people here in the state are getting ripped off. Also, we got this issue with the sweetheart. What was the name of the apartment building you said you looked at? The Concierge. Of course, we know that place was. I mean, it's falling apart with pipes bursting all over the place. And this guy is like William Tong out of nowhere. He's like, "Oh, you guys better get your act together." I'm like, "Dude, where were you?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I just don't. I don't understand. I just don't. This guy is just such a. It's always the Trump thing that this guy shows up for. The stuff that's local makes no sense. That he's never, ever around. He seems to be late or asleep at the wheel. By the way, have you ever heard this new thing that's emerging about Ned Lamont?
Not sure.
That he's losing his faculties?
I think I've heard something about that thrown around in different forums, but...
Okay, so you have heard this.
I have no way of confirming that.
Yeah, nor do I.
Or diagnosing it for that matter.
Okay. But no, they're saying that, and I don't, let's say, okay, let me rephrase it. Not losing his faculty, that his memory seems to be off a bit.
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
There was something about meeting somebody
yes.
that was regularly...
Yeah, and trust me when I tell you.
Known by name.
This is person who is known. This is a popular person. There's no way you would know this individual, nor Lamont not know them. In fact, here's where it gets crazy, because I was talking to that person again, and they gave me another detail to the story. This is how crazy it was. So the person, and the reason why he thought it was so weird, is that they were together at an event, and this person brought their mother.
Okay.
And Lamont said to the person, "Hey, such and such, you brought your mother." It's like said to him by name, called him out by name. It wasn't like they were introduced. He was in the middle of something. Such and such was in the middle of something else, and pointed out, "Hey, such and such, I see you brought your mom." And then just recently saw him and couldn't remember who he was.
Right. Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard that from you.
Yeah, it was from me. So it's real. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. In the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center is Tom O'Hanlon.
The NAACP calls him, whoa, I don't think I'm allowed to read this. It's Reese on the radio. Let's just say some people are not fans. On News Talk 1080, WTIC.
All right, we are back. Ford CEO admits that the customer has spoken after the EV push drives major quarterly loss. Ford CEO Jim Farley acknowledged that consumer demand has shifted away from large electric vehicles, admitting the customer has spoken following Ford's massive financial hit tied to its EV strategy. During the company's Q4 2025 earnings call on February 10th, Farley stated, quote, "I think the consumer has spoken. That's the punchline." Ford reported a staggering $11.1 billion net loss for the fourth quarter, and worse since 2008. Remember that? And a full year, 2025, net loss of $8.2 billion. The EV division, known as Model E, posted a $4.8 billion loss for the year, driven by weak sales of models like the Mustang Mach-E, F-150 Lightning, and the E-Transit, which dropped 14% year over year. Additional pressures include a $19.5 billion write-down on EV programs, which much of it hitting Q4, about $2 billion in tariff-related costs, and disruptions from a fire at an aluminum supplier. The company has already taken steps to realign, including ending production of all-electric Ford F-150 Lightnings, planning to relaunch it as an extended-range electric vehicle with a gas generator, scaling back some larger EV investments. This going along with the Trump administration, who just recently did a press conference Says here, President Trump and EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin announced the largest deregulatory action in the U.S. history today, ending the EPA's climate change power grab. In this rule, the EPA is saving American taxpayers $1.3 trillion, eliminating both the Obama-era 2009 greenhouse gas endangerment finding and all subsequent federal GHG emission standards for all vehicles and engines of model years 2012 and 2027 and beyond, he said. The announcement, he said that from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. The action also eliminates all off-cycle credits, including for the almost universally hated start and stop feature. Chris, are you familiar with the start and stop feature? That's the one where you step on the brake and the car shuts off and then
Yeah, a couple cars in my house have that.
You have that feature?
Yeah.
Was that a feature you purchased for that, or it just came with it?
It just came with the vehicles.
What do you think of that? It says over here that so many people hate it.
It's kind of annoying because if you're sitting at a light, it'll activate after a couple seconds. The stop sign, it usually won't activate unless you're sitting there for a few seconds. But when you start to go, you start thinking about the horns you're going to hear behind you because it takes a couple seconds to restart, and then you can start going. And
because you don't instantly accelerate. No, it's really slow.
It comes back on, and there's a little bit of a hesitation.
Right.
So you're always worried about, especially at a left turn arrow.
Yeah.
That's those are timed pretty short. So 3 cars back's not going to make it if you're sitting behind someone with that start stop feature. Yeah. It's
annoying. I never understood why it was implemented other than. What is it to save gas? Was that what it was for?
I think it was like the no idling law that came into effect in a lot of states way back when. I think Jody Rell put that into effect in Connecticut some years ago. Like you go to Bradley Airport to pick someone up, big signs, no idling, no idling. Somebody was out there at the beginning of that. Troopers were out there making sure you were not sitting there with your car idling.
Really?
You get a ticket for it.
So you'd have to cut the car off.
Yes. Yeah.
And, of course, if it's cold, it's like a 12 minus. Forget about it. You're going to sit in the cold waiting for somebody to come out of the airport.
Absolutely.
That's ridiculous.
Back then, yeah. So they invented this thing. I don't know the history of it, but at least your heat will still run while the car is shut off. But
exactly.
It's only temporarily shut off. It's not going to drain your battery or anything either.
I'm so glad that that's no longer a thing because I hear a lot of people hate it. I thought when I first saw it for the first time, I was like, oh, I guess that seems cool. But then I actually rented a car with it.
Yep.
Hated it. Like I totally got why people hated it right off the bat. Let's go to the phones real quick. I'm going to go with Craig in the car real quick. That's your buddy. And he knows this because in truck sales, I think Craig is in. You understand this more than I would as far as vehicles are concerned, right, Craig?
Yeah, I know a little bit about it.
Okay. Is that what you called about?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. So what the government and the EPA did was they actually blew through the stop sign because where the technology is in hybrid technology.
Right.
It's hybrid electric and gas. And they eliminated the potential of doing that in certain states like California by having zero emissions regulations.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't say less emissions regulations. It was zero.
Damn.
So they mandated from two different directions. One was by the manufacturer. So the manufacturer, if they were going to sell into California, had to have a certain amount of their sales be zero emissions. Where California went off the rail is they also mandated that fleets, like Amazon, a certain number of their vehicles in their fleet that were purchased also had to be zero emissions. So you're getting hit from both directions.
Damn.
And it actually forced a couple of truck manufacturers out of the country. They just said, no, we're not doing this. And certain engine manufacturers said, it's too expensive. There's no way we can develop that technology. So it was really going to eliminate a lot of options for consumers in California. And thank God that Lee Zeldin has got a head on his shoulders and he's getting rid of this stuff. The stop-start technology, my car has it. You've been in my car.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But I have the luxury of shutting it off. I can
that's right. Well, is it because you have a higher-end vehicle, or is it standard for...
No, it's just got an extra button that I can just override it, and it doesn't do that.
Is that available on any car? You mean I could have done that on my rental car?
It depends on the car.
I had a Volkswagen.
Yeah, you probably could have.
Okay.
Probably. You may need an engineering degree to figure out how to do it. But, it can be done. And that stop-start technology, that was to reduce emissions while you're idling.
Right.
You're at a stoplight, the car shuts off. The problem with that is it adds extra wear and tear on the vehicle, right?
I would imagine.
Has a shelf life.
That's right.
And the worst thing you can do for an engine is start it. That's the most damaging part of an engine's operation is when you first start it.
Isn't that interesting?
Oil drops down out of the head, and now you got a dry engine, and you got to start it up again and get that oil flowing again. It's only a few seconds. I get it. But over the course of 100,000 miles or 200,000 miles, that's wear and tear on the vehicle.
Yeah, I can imagine. And that's just happening. In essence, if you really think about it, with how many times you start and stop in your daily life, you are probably putting 10, 20, 30 times the amount of start that you would normally put in your vehicle just waking up every morning, starting your car, and going to work.
And that's not if you're an Uber driver.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Oh, man, that's so true. Yeah. I knew a guy. In fact, I took an Uber. We went to go get our brakes done on the car recently. And this guy was an Uber who picked me up. He was in a Hyundai. And I asked him, I was like, what year is this car? And it was a 2021. So it's only about 5 years old. He had 249,000 miles on her.
Not surprised.
Not surprised. That is insanity. That's almost around the earth, my man.
All right, so I'm going to give you some faith warning advice as a going away present.
Okay.
Start with parallels, because if you start with the specter within, your head's going to explode.
Okay, you guys are always giving me music stuff that I listen to, and it always ends up me not liking it. I'm just letting you know that now.
You're a thinking man. You can handle a little bit of progressive rock.
Fine. You know what I need to be? I need to be alone, because if I'm with Roseanne will say, "What is this?" Then I have to deal with it.
Promise me, if I send you a playlist, would you at least give it a shot?
Of course, if you send me a playlist, without a doubt.
All right.
I trust you. You haven't weirded me out yet.
Nice hat, by the way.
Thank you, sir. Of course. I knew you and Eric will enjoy it. I was thinking, you know what? I put on this shirt, and this hat was the first thing I thought of.
Perfect.
So it matches it. Thank you, Craig. I appreciate you, buddy.
Thanks, brother.
You got it. Craig in the car, as usual. And I don't want to take Jerry yet. I do want to take Bruce in a second, because I know he's calling about this as well. Bruce, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Reese?
I'm all right. What do you got for me?
So you guys are talking about fate's warning.
Oh, goodness gracious.
My best friend from high school was a founding member.
Oh, really?
So, yes, he was on the first album, I think it was Night on Brocken and Spectre Within.
Really?
And the guy still jams out. He's almost 65 now. He's in all kinds of bands, still plays. He actually made an album with a guy from, I don't know, Ohio or something.
Okay.
And they were like a best-selling album in Germany. So they're heavy metal guys, but yeah, check it out. It's some good stuff.
Can you say the guy's name?
Victor Arduini.
Okay, so Victor Arduini, and he had a hit record in Germany.
Yeah, he was. I think it was the band was A and B. It was his first initial, and the other singer.
Can I throw some cold water on that on the hit record in Germany?
Sure.
Also had a hit record in Germany. David Hasselhoff and Alyssa Milano.
Yes, no, I know that. In totally two different classes.
I know. I'm just kidding. I'm sure he was a great player.
He's in a band. He loves Elvis, so he does some Elvis stuff.
Does he?
And yeah, they play locally. So they're pretty good too. So he's into all kinds of music.
You had me at Aaron. I love Elvis. You know what? You know I love Elvis. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you.
You got it.
You got it. Jerry is in Stafford. Hello, Jerry.
Hey, Reese, 3 quick points. Number one, I just saw the story about the GOP candidate for governor of Minnesota His daughter was murdered in their home.
Yes.
And these people play for keeps, so you please be careful.
Yes, sir.
With, speaking the truth. They don't hate you because you lie. They hate you when you speak the truth.
Damn right.
Second point is, are you an outdoorsman?
There's an old joke that I say is that my idea of roughing it is a hotel without Wi-Fi. So no.
There you go. Spend a night in a Motel 6 in Lumberton, North Carolina.
That may be a little too much for me. The doorway is right there on the street.
So this is, I ran this, the reason I asked I ran this by two of my friends who are outdoorsmen, hunters.
Okay.
And I asked them, will a wild hog, will a feral hog, will a wild boar eat a human being if they find the body? And they said yes. And I'm watching the news coverage outside of Nancy Guthrie's house, and a wild boar just saunters onto the property. Doesn't, with all the TV cameras and all the reporters, it just seemed very strange.
Such a good point. I saw that footage as well, and it didn't even dawn on me. And I've had an encounter with a herd of wild boars in Texas. So I totally get that. In seeing that, I just went, oh, that's interesting. They've got wild boars too. And it just completely slipped my mind. That's exactly what they'll do.
Well, but the thought that screamed in my head was, if you remember the scene from Jaws where they cut the shark open to see if the kid's in there?
Yeah.
It's like, shoot that animal or tranquilize it and open it up and see if there's human remains inside.
It's a good point.
It's a terrible thing to think, but it was just really weird for a wild, a feral hog to be wandering in among all these journalists. But then again, maybe they fit in.
They were in pleasant company. Thank you, boss. And real quick, you got a last one.
Point number 3. Gateway Pundit has a story about an Obama judge freed 3 murderers and 1 child predator who were slated for deportation. They were being held in prison, but the Obama judge let these. So for all those Democrats that say, "Oh no, we want the murderers gone too. We don't want the housekeepers to be kicked out, but we'll let the murderers. We want them gone." Well, no, they don't. This Obama judge freed these 3 with criminal convictions outside the United States, I suppose. Freed them. They were being held for ICE with final orders of deportation, and this judge just let them walk.
It's not a bit. You think that's bad? I read the Boasberg story. Judge Boasberg ordering the Trump administration to return the Venezuelans.
An evil man.
He's absolutely unreal. That guy.
He went to the Trump indictment on his day off to watch it.
It wasn't that a wild one. Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate you, man.
I know.
You got it. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher is not in, so we have Tom O'Hanlon. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. See what I did there? That was smart, see?
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we are back, and when we return, we're going to do some music news and a story that was in the New York Post about Gene Simmons. And there's some interesting angles to this because it also involves, weirdly enough, Jerry Garcia and guitarist from the Rolling Stones, crazy guy. I'm sorry, hold on. What's his name?
Keith Richards.
Keith Richards, that's, of course, exactly right. So I want to talk about that with Chris. He'll join us in a minute to talk about that. I also, for tomorrow's program, we got to get to the bottom of this because they opened up a free grocery store in New York called Poly Market. And the crazy, Roseanne just literally proved my theory on this. So there's somebody there, and let me see if I can play the audio from Fox 5 in New York talking to this woman who is in the crowd. WNYW is the station there in New York. They're asking her about it. It says, I think it's called Poly Market. I don't know where it is in New York, but here's what she said.
It's a
good idea, just for the experience. Right. I don't think it's a good idea for New York to do this all the time or every day on a consistent basis, because it'll lead us back to maybe like Cuba when they give out food to families and everybody has to come.
So that's a concern for you.
Now, the reporter immediately cuts her off for good reason, because she doesn't want that getting out there, because that's exactly what's going to happen. And here's why. It's real simple. We'll break the whole thing down. We'll get more audio sound bites for tomorrow. Here's the breakdown. What happens when you give out free groceries? Now, people say, well, this is to help the poor who can't feed themselves. No, it never does that, because people are people. And if I find out, whoa, I don't have to spend my usual grocery budget on groceries anymore, I can go pick them up for free, well, I'm going to get online too. Sure, I can afford groceries, but they're giving them away. And I'm sorry, it's New York, and there are a lot of scumbags down there. They just are. Place is crawling with them. Crawling with them. And that's exactly what they'll do. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Stand by. Music news is coming up. Tom O'Hanlon is filling in for Mark Christopher. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Let's do the thing. News. 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 Okay, and today in music news, Gene Simmons has once again criticized the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for inducting hip-hop artists, calling the inclusion a mismatch for an institution named after rock and roll. In a recent appearance on the Legends and Leaders podcast around February 2026, the KISS bassist and frontman doubled down on his longstanding view, arguing that hip-hop doesn't belong alongside rock acts. He pointed out the irony of metal legends like Iron Maiden being excluded, despite selling out stadiums, while hip-hop pioneers such as Grandmaster Flash have been inducted. Simmons referenced past exchanges, including once with Ice Cube, whom he called the bright guy he respects, but emphasized it's not music. I don't come from the ghetto. It doesn't speak my language. He repeated his position, quote, I said in print many times, hip-hop does not belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, nor does opera, nor symphony orchestras. How come the New York Philharmonic doesn't get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Because it's called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Simmons described rap and hip-hop primarily as spoken word art, with beats and occasional melodies added, but fundamentally verbal rather than musical in traditional rock sense. He sarcastically flipped the question, I just want to know when Led Zeppelin's going to be in a hip-hop Hall of Fame. This isn't new territory for Simmons. He voiced a similar complaint years earlier about the Hall evolving criteria, which included acts like Run DMC, Public Enemy, Beastie Boys, Jay-Z, and Eminem, and Missy Elliott. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has long defended its broader approach, emphasizing the spirit of rock and roll and cultural impact beyond strict genre lines. Now, Chris B., do you agree or disagree with Gene Simmons?
I see his point, because it is called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe do something simple like change the name to the American Music Hall of Fame or the Trump Music Hall of Fame, for that matter. But then nobody will get in, or nobody will want to be in. But anyway, no, I think he's got a point, because if you're going to call it rock and roll, mm-hmm. it seems to point to a specific genre of music. There's a lot of different subgenres in rock and roll, as we all know.
Right.
But it's a tough one, because I do think that there's creativity that goes into the hip-hop music. There's creativity that goes into the rap music. There's real instruments that are played in rock and roll are also played in rap music. It's not just samples. There are actually actual musicians that play on a lot of those songs. Mm-hmm. So it is a slippery slope to say whether or not he's right, or whether or not something should be done to exclude anybody, or mm-hmm. establish a whole new Hall of Fame.
I would establish a whole new Hall of Fame and have it have the criteria of a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Because, like I said, when I was listening to this Like, I celebrated the fact that the Tribe Called Quest got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because I'm a big Tribe Called Quest guy. But I still can say that I was proud of them because, again, a fan, grew up with their music. And, in fact, a lot of my production, when I wanted to be a hip-hop kid, when I did my first demo, they were my inspiration, as well as De La Soul. So getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I understood the prestige of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is why I congratulate them. Knowing that, Gene Simmons sort of brings me back to the reality of making that point. If you're going to induct rap into or hip-hop into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, why not opera singers? You know what I mean?
Right,
Pavarotti's got to be in there now.
All music should be in there.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no distinction. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was a distinction. Now, I understand that the hall is probably saying, whoa, we have to be inclusionary. You can be. Because, I'll give you a perfect example. The Smithsonian did do an entire history museum for African Americans in D.C., didn't they? It's run by the Smithsonian.
Yep.
But they ran, again. And guess what? Not one person said, hey, why are you separating us? No one did. Everybody celebrated the fact that it was separated by the Smithsonian. So why not just do that? What do you got, Roseanne? I can't read that. Well, go grab the mic. Just grab the microphone. You want me to read it? Okay, I'll read it. She wants to join in here. Why not the Country Music Hall of Fame? It's great. Yeah, why not induct rap music into the Country Music Hall of Fame? You wouldn't dream of it.
Good point.
I mean, you just wouldn't do it, and the country music does have a Hall of Fame. Do you now say, like, I think the Grand Ole Opry has a Hall of Fame as well. I'm almost certain to do. Yeah,
most likely.
Yeah, without a doubt. So for you, you get the... Because I know Gene Simmons and, does Nelly go in the Country Hall of Fame? Keith Richards, and oddly enough, I did not know this, Jerry Garcia believed the same thing, that it was kind of disrespectful to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Well, maybe you get to a point where you've got a lot of these guys, those three individuals in particular, were pioneering in the evolution of rock and roll from late 50s, early 60s, some of them, to now, where there's probably more of a tolerance or an acceptance that you're splintering off from that original mainstay of rock and roll that probably spawned or gave birth to hip-hop rap, because there's a lot of influences in a lot of that other music from rock and roll.
Indeed. Beastie Boys are a perfect example.
I mean, rock and roll was early influence blues.
Right.
Jazz.
Sure.
Morphed into rock and roll.
Right.
So it's only natural that these other genres probably also spawned from rock and roll as that grew. So either side has a good point.
I believe, I can't say that so much for hip-hop, because in its origination, hip-hop was very much an offshoot of disco and reggae music, weirdly enough. But those were the two subgenres that sort of melded the hip-hop sound. And that beat and the cadence, all of that, so both of those things were there. I remember when I was living in Queens on 191st Street, the guy who lived across the street from me was the bassist for a group called the Fatback Band. Now, a lot of people, do you know them? Have you ever heard of them?
Never heard of them.
Okay, well, they had a, I cannot remember it, but I want to say it was King T III was the name of the first real rap record. I'm almost certain of that. And what it was just a R&B rhythm track with a guy rapping over it. It is indeed considered the first real rap record. It never gets the credit, what do you call it? Rapper's Delight is always given like the first mainstream rap record. Yep. And of course, what is that from? It's a sample of a disco record. So you get what I'm saying. So it's like that's where that is.
Where it more
so it
from.
really doesn't have any roots in rock and roll at all, which is again why I understand why these guys are saying rock and roll. Who, by the way, do you remember who was the first person who used the term rock and roll? I think I know this.
Alan Freed, or
it's either Alan Freed or it is
Bill Haley. No, he played.
No, they say the guy who coined the phrase rock and roll, and it's arguably this guy and somebody else, is Levy. Marv Levy. Marvin Levy. Whoever the guy was that was in charge of that guy who's saying, why do fools fall in love? His name, yeah, he might be. Honey, can you figure out what his name was? The guy Levy. Why do fools fall in love?
And
he was a record producer.
The reference you're making to the roots of disco are kind of ironic because two of the three bands that you named are members of the bands, Rolling Stones, Kiss, all had a little bit of a disco phase.
And that's right. Yeah. That's right. That's exactly right. They did go through that a little bit.
A song or two.
Let me see. Should soccer players be in the Football Hall of Fame? That's a great argument. That is a wonderful argument.
The Pickleball Hall of Fame.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Herbert says, Reese, I'm neither Democrat or Republican. However, when a politician does something that is duplicitous and hypocritical, I have to comment. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. He's making some comment about Westmore. The guy who used to be the record executive, you know what? Look up Adam Levy's father from Warlock Records. Adam Levy ran Warlock Records. His father was a record executive back in the day. And you should be, I want to say his name is, was that Morris Levy? Morris Levy. It is said he is the guy who invented the phrase rock and roll. The guy who invented the phrase rock and roll. It's either him or it's another guy. But the point is that you're right. When blues was no longer blues, or at least the music that they were playing was no longer blues, it became rock and roll. You didn't find it? What do you got?
No, I got Alan Freed.
You got Alan Freed. Yep. When did they say he invented the word?
That's from AI, by the way, so you know it's true.
What year?
Early 1950s.
Okay, early 1950s. Okay, yeah, that's what you got? Okay. And what was Alan Freed's role in rock and roll?
I believe he was a DJ.
Oh, was he a radio DJ? Okay, that makes sense.
I think so. Yeah,
okay.
Cleveland District. Cleveland
District. That's right.
That's where the Hall of Fame is.
That's
Cleveland.
right. Makes sense. Anyway, but my bottom line is I think Gene Simmons is 100% right. As much as it is controversial, and I know a lot of people who are angered by that because they're saying, well, why can't we get in? You know, I always brought up this stupid argument that was made many years ago, that out of nowhere, when the Academy Awards would not, God bless you, when the Academy Awards would not recognize a lot of black films, they immediately said, forget that. The NAACP is going to invent an award that celebrates black excellence. So they started the NAACP Image Awards. And then they lost all credibility when they nominated Justin Timberlake for Best R&B Album. They did it. Don't get mad at me. They did it. I did not. For some odd reason that day, there wasn't enough blacks with R&B records. So Justin Timberlake got a nod.
It's a bad year.
It's a bad year for blacks.
That's right.
Turn the NAACP. But anyway, that was the whole purpose of creating the NAACP Image Awards, because they felt they weren't getting recognized. Then they invented the Soul Train Awards, then the BET Awards, and all of that stuff. So sure enough, that was supposed to placate. But guess what? For some odd reason, that did not work, or it was not lasting. People started seeing those awards for what they were. Secondary. They wanted the big prize. No, it's nice to have the NAACP award, but I really, really want that Oscar. Right. I really want that Golden Globe. I really want that Emmy. And that's where we are right now. In this whole thing, they want the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing because, as I said before, that these civil rights groups and these civil rights folks and these people always one thing. It's always one thing. It's white acceptance or nothing. That's the truth.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's the constant need for white acceptance in order to be legitimate. Because I would, look, if I were to get an NAACP award today, I would celebrate that. The NAACP wants to recognize my achievements? Are you kidding me? It would be the top of bill on me. Yeah. NAACP award-winning radio host, Reese on the radio. But they, for some odd reason, don't seem to care. They want the white award.
Yeah.
I don't get it. So, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. It's a likelihood that Gene Simmons is going to create a controversy. It sparked some stuff today. But if I'm getting you right here, Chris, you think that you agree with Gene Simmons here.
I said he's got a point.
Oh, you didn't say you agree?
No, I don't know if I agree or not. I mean, but the way you lay out your your argument there, or your points, is that it does seem to make sense that it should be, just like Roseanne said, the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
There's that. Maybe John Bon Jovi got into that one. I don't know. With Richie Sambora. But,
right.
But I don't know how you could say that everybody in this genre gets into this one.
Yeah, but not into the others.
Not into the others. So maybe he's right.
What? I would go so far as this. Here's the only thing you have to do, right? You make the hip-hop awards, right? You make the hip-hop Hall of Fame as legitimate as you would the rock and roll one.
Sure.
Build the building right next door.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Or
you just say
up.
Exactly.
One floor on top.
Exactly. But you just legitimize it, right? You can still whiten it up, right? You induct them. Yeah, you do. You whiten it up. If it needs white legitimacy, just induct the Beastie Boys first, or Eminem,
or have Ryan Seacrest host the event.
But you know what? You're thinking. You are always thinking, my friend. It's just, I just thought it was weird. If you've got an opinion, let me know. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. We'll take a break. In a second, we get ready to wrap this up with Chris. Roseanne is in the background. She, of course, will be here tomorrow. She is watching bloopers and a whole bunch of other stuff and complaining about her meal because she cooked it. She made me eat all of this healthy stuff, and now she doesn't like the food. What? What's it called? Spanakopita?
Sounds like a disease.
That's horrible.
It's going to give you a disease.
What? Yeah, I know, but you chose it. This is, by the way, this is that Tovella thing. By the way, tomorrow I want to hear from people who have purchased this this device, this Tovella thing. If you've done that, I want to hear from you tomorrow. Explain this to me and why do you like this thing. I want to know all about it. Let's get another break. Weather and traffic's coming up. Mark Christopher is out. So filling in is Tom O'Hanlon right here on WTIC.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
Don't forget to ever do that. Go online to ReeseOnTheRadio.com, WTIC.com, or download the Odyssey app for the program so you can boost our numbers, make us feel good about ourselves. That's all it's about. That's all it is. Also, you can never, ever miss a program. And you don't want to miss today's monologue. Please, if you are late here today, definitely go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com after the show or go to WTIC after the show and listen to the opening monologue. If I do say so myself, it was a doozy. Let me read this from Herbert. Herbert writes, Reese, I'm neither Democrat nor Republican. However, when a politician does something that is duplicitous and hypocritical, I have to comment. Trump criticized Maryland Governor Wes Moore as foul-mouthed. Moore has used profanities in the past, but no one approaches the use of profanity that Trump has used. Really? Anyway, I think Trump just talks too much and says things that he should not say. I think some people would be more receptive of Trump with less rhetoric. Herbert, let me respond, because this is important to you. And this is the part that I don't get. The President of the United States is a public servant, but he is elected by millions, tens of millions of people. And that deserves some respect. Please understand that. Wes Moore was elected too. But Wes Moore didn't get 77 million votes in Maryland. It's Maryland. It's Maryland. And Wes Moore does understand that Donald Trump is, in essence, the chief executive. But you know what I notice, Herbert? You don't. You don't recognize Donald Trump as the chief executive. So when you say Trump just talks too much and says things he should not say, as if to suggest you get to determine what the most powerful man on earth gets to say. Do you really think you get to dictate that? And then holler free speech when somebody tells you what you can and cannot say? Think about that. Would you have ever said that to Barack Hussein Obama? Perhaps when he said the Boston police or the Cambridge police acted stupidly, would you have said, yeah, Barack, you shouldn't talk so much? Or when he said Trayvon Martin could have been my son. Really? I don't remember Michelle having any boys. Would you have told him to shut up then? Maybe not ruffle the feathers? Huh? Would you? When he said that America is not the only exceptional country, would you have told him to be quiet then? Or when he went out on an apology tour, when he went to Egypt and went to apologize to Muslim nations after we hunted down radical fundamentalists who attacked us and continued to attack us for years, causing us to have a 23-year war. Unnecessary, but still a 23, 24-year war. Did you tell him to be quiet then? No, you didn't. You see, you don't see Donald Trump as the chief executive. You think he's a Twitter rival. That's why. So I'm just going to recognize his gangster, and I'm going to tell him to keep tweeting, my friend. Keep tweeting. Let's get back to the weather and traffic with my good friend, Tom O'Hanlon. What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, get to the phones real quick. Let me read some of the comments in the chat room. Let me see what we got here. Not rap, but rap Charlie Daniels, Uneasy Rider. Also, I don't know what that song is. Sorry, John Doe, not familiar with that one. Let me see here. Queen and David Bowie did a disco song also. If you think Under Pressure is a disco song, it's not really. It's not. I don't think it's a disco song. It's questionable. It's questionable, right? Yeah. That's a questionable one. Ethel Merman did a disco album too. This does not qualify her to get into Disco Hall of Fame. And by the way, Craig, neither does Pat Boone's rock album. It's like you have to have a consistent. I know he did it, Pat Boone. I know he did one, but it's not a consistent, like, a career in rock music. And Pat Boone is a weird guy. I knew he was weird when I first saw his specials growing up.
Yep.
Huh? Pat Boone is a guy.
Look him up.
Yeah, look him up. He's always been a weird guy. Michael Bolton's first album was hair metal. That's right. Michael Bolton, I did a story on him. In fact, we had a guest on here who did his whole sort of like background on Instagram. It was the most amazing video I ever watched. I had the guy on as a guest. He talks about Michael Bolton all the way from when he was 15 years old. And how his brother was a star first. And said everywhere his brother went was saying, wait till you hear my brother sing. He knew that Michael Bolton was going to be a star. Right. He knew that, from the get-go. Did you say Kenny G? For what? Michael Bolton, I don't know. Okay, stop. Anyway, let me see. I seem to remember Biden making comments about people from India in convenience stores. Yes, I wish somebody would have told him not to speak. That's right. He goes, hey, you can't go to a 7-Eleven without hearing one of them Indian folks. That's what he said. I've never had, I know that Barack Obama, he's clean and articulate. It's never even seen anything like that before. Clean and articulate. I don't even know what the clean part means. It's like, the boy washes. He actually scrubs, takes baths, unlike other blacks. Like, is that what you say?
Those people.
Did you see Muhammad Jihad? Is that what you said? You're a mess. Just stop. Anyway. Yeah, you're not allowed, by the way, in no way whatsoever, to say the president needs to stop this and stop that. Herbert, this is something you need to recognize. And I want to go back to his statement earlier. This is something that a lot of these people need to understand. Stop dealing with Donald Trump like he's a celebrity on The Apprentice. Those days are over. All right? He is the twice elected president of the United States, okay? He's a leader of the free world. That's who he is. You guys don't think he's legitimate? That's fine. But you have to reconcile with that. Just, talk to your sponsor. He is the president of the United States, okay? Like, seriously, seek help, talk to a therapist. Okay? All this is, and the screaming and hollering, all it is about you. It's not about Donald Trump. He doesn't care that you don't like what he says. He doesn't care that it irritates you. Like, and when you are shouting to people like me, you're not reaching Donald Trump. I promise you, when you tell me all this stuff or you're posting online, nobody you know online is going, Donald, you should have to hear what Morty said about you on Facebook today. You have no idea how upset. Like, stop. Like, you are the one that is like, you're like blowing your own self up in the sense of, like, you really think what you think matters. You've been led to believe that your silly little point of view, when you're talking about Donald Trump, in some way reaches him. It's a pipe dream beyond pipe dreams. Relax. And when you're out in your protest and the news is covering you with the camera and you're waving at the camera, look, I said no kidding. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And I know this incessant need to just be a part of something. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I know you liberals are listening to me, and I know you listen to me, so pay very close attention, okay? Seriously, okay? Listen. Sit down. Take a minute. Get a hobby. Crochet, knit, dog walk, do arts and crafts. I know life can be boring. I know that sometimes you might be saying to yourself, what can I give to the world? Volunteer. Okay? Contact my good friends at the Salvation Army. Contact anybody. And just put your, let's just say, passion to work for others other than your ego. I know it's about likes, and I know it's about shares, but leave that to the teenagers. You're a grown-ass man, and you're a grown-ass woman. You've got grandchildren. Give. Somebody out there needs a mahjong partner, and you're depriving them of that. Get to it. Think about all those people who are sitting lonely at the nursing home or at the hospital. Think about all the good you can be doing instead of shouting at the moon, damn you, Trump! Damn you! You don't have to do that. Why get your stress up? USA. Go do some good in the world. That's what I'm doing. I joined a church. I give when I can. We just gave over $700 to Connecticut Food Share. You can too. By the way, I want to thank all of you who gave. Just try. You could do so much. Seriously, you could do so much. Let's go to Dan in Manchester. How are we, Dan?
Oh, we are spectacular.
How are you, buddy? What's going on?
You actually picked up on my pronouns. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. No problem. What do you got for me?
Hey, you mentioned something about Fate's Warning in the last hour. What was that you were talking about?
Okay, I don't know anything about this band, but apparently Chris here does, and so does Craig in the car and a whole bunch of other folks. They're a local band, and apparently they had like a considerable amount of success, Chris?
Yeah, they had 13 albums.
13? That's not
that's
a lot of success.
Live stuff, too, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Let me ask Chris then. Have you ever listened to Arch Matheos?
Oh, yeah. I've got both of those albums, too, and they're bangers. Both of them are awesome.
Yeah, because I grew up with John Arch.
Did you?
And, yeah, he's still here. He's in Coventry. Still makes music. He's toured with the band a few times. He's the original singer that left way back.
Yep.
But he's toured with them a few times. He's gone over to Germany and Europe. They're still hugely popular over there.
So he's in Coventry. And, I'm in Vernon. And that would explain why they did the video for Tethered. It has Henry Park in Vernon. That's where they filmed a good part of the video. I always wondered why. I'm in the neighboring town. I'm in Coventry a few times a month, and I don't even know that John Arch is in the next town over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's his full name was John Archambault.
Yep.
So but he
did he shorten it? Wait a minute. Did he shorten it because it sounded more rock?
Yeah, well, think about it.
Yeah.
You're in a band called Fate's Warning, and your name is John Arch.
Yeah.
Arch, enemy, Arch, whatever. Arch. So it was a great thing. But he's a great guy. He's like a very unassuming, nice person when you meet him and stuff. He's not one of these guys who's a rock star.
I hear you. Well, he's from Connecticut. I can see that kind of humility, it's sort of a humbleness, if you will.
Yeah. Hey, play Midnight Serenade for Reese.
I will.
It's probably one of their most, I want to say, closer to mainstream kind of songs.
Okay.
That's a great song.
Is it?
And don't forget, Michael Bolton's name was Michael Bolton originally.
That's right. That was also a part. Yeah, that was also a part of that documentary.
Yeah, his first hit was "Fool's Game."
Was that part of it?
That was his first MTV video.
Right.
There,
is that the song? Is that the song that he released, but then the label dropped him afterwards?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
He's on stage playing the guitar, and he comes out. He's got the leather pants on and everything. And then, a couple years later, he comes out and he's doing
ballads.
Mommy's crotch music, and you're like, oh my God. But the thing is, the guy had a voice.
Always. His brother said it since he was 15.
No matter where he was in any genre, he had a voice that just came across.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. And that's the thing is when you want to talk about musicians, guys like that, I mean, it's so sad about, his
cancer.
His cancer and everything. It's really sad, but, the guy... I'm sorry, but he definitely made a lot of women swoon over the years.
But you know what? Michael Bolton, believe it or not, because people think, people who didn't know his story would have thought that this guy was an overnight success. But if you really watch that documentary the guy does on Instagram, that this guy literally paid his dues for years being he had one album, then he dropped by the label, then he became a songwriter. I mean, this guy went through every nook and cranny of the music business before he made it big.
And it's he was one of the guys at Toad's Place. He was playing there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was and I think, if I'm thinking correctly, back in the day, he was at the very end of the Shabu Inn. He used to play out there on Willimantic.
Huh. Wild.
Which was that place burned to the ground years ago.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know Chris is going to send me a whole bunch of music that I've got to listen to now. Craig is as well. He's going to give me the entire catalog for me to listen to. I hope I have to take a long drive soon so that I can listen to all of this.
It will be.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, buddy. Let's go to Stevie V in Waterbury. What's going on, sir?
Before I give you a little inside baseball, I want to talk about Trump real quick.
Steve, I couldn't hear you. Say again.
Well, I'm going to talk about Michael Bolton, but I want to talk about Trump real quick.
Go ahead, real quick.
Trump is a New Yorker, and I like that he's not politically correct because things were really going downhill with all that.
That's right.
Before Michael Bolton hit it big, I used to manage a band, and I had a partner that had all kinds of connections. Acquaintance of mine, Dave, used to play guitar with him. He wanted me to be like Michael, if I could manage him. But my partner didn't want to go down that road. But I do have an old tape before he really hit it.
Really? You got an old Michael Bolton tape?
Yep, I think a garage tape is on cassette. Yeah.
Has it ever been heard before?
I listened to it myself.
No, but has it ever been heard by the masses before?
I'm not sure because it's going back in the 80s.
Listen to me.
Yes.
Listen to me. Nobody wants that tape more than I do. Do you understand me? I've got an unreleased Christina Aguilera album.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And it's good. And it should have been released. But the people that she was working with, they ended up suing her and a whole 9 yards, and it never got released. But it's really, really good.
No kidding.
Yeah, if you got that tape, Stevie V, you need to get that to me, at least a copy of it.
Well, we'll see what I can do for you. I got to find it first, but I'm still going. I'll talk to you later. Okay.
You got it, boss man. Thank you.
Bye.
You got it. Stevie V, ladies and gentlemen. Chris, thank you as always. I'd like it when you come by here. You don't get a lot of time off, do you?
No, and the only reason I'm here is because the golf courses are closed down because of the snow. Otherwise, that's where I'd be on a day off. No, I have a pretty liberal amount of time off that I can take. I just choose to work and dedicate myself to my craft. And But anytime
What, your craft of golf?
No.
Oh.
My real job.
Oh, okay.
Which will remain unnamed.
Yeah, we don't do that here.
So no, but anytime you want me in here, if you give me a few days' notice,
okay,
I could take time.
I love it when you come in.
Have a lot of fun.
I know you always say that every time you
I've
come
been
in
on here 2 times, which is 2 times more than I've been on Saturday Night Live, which is a real treat. So thank you for that.
Well, I always love the fact that you have so much fun here because I'm sitting here watching you guys watch me work, and even you said he was like, I thought you didn't have an opening monologue. I was like, I didn't.
Nope.
I didn't have an opening.
Watched it made up on the fly. I was super impressed.
That's because I try to tell people that if it's in my head, that's all I need, and it's what I believe and what I think. So I'm good to go.
Yep.
So, yeah. So, Chris, as always, man, thank you so much. And please send my best to your beautiful wife, who I can't wait for Roseanne to meet. I want to see what happens when a Mexican and a Brazilian get in the same shopping mall.
It'll be very loud.
It will?
Yeah.
It will be loud. Well, that will be new.
Oh, really?
That will be new. Yeah, because Roseanne's always telling me to keep it down. So these two, will they be doing Spanish words when they get around each other?
Oh my God.
No, my wife now speaks Spanish very fluently.
Ha ha!
She immersed herself in the culture.
Look at that.
You ever heard of a show called Caso Cerrado?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Univision, don't watch it. It's the Jerry Springer of courtroom drama. With all Spanish-speaking people on it. Nothing against Spanish-speaking people, obviously, but it is the most ludicrous stuff you could ever watch.
That's like when the mermaid in Splash learned English by watching bad television. We got to get out of here. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you, and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. He is Chris B. Roseanne. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow. Getting us out of here is, what's his name? Tom Millsap? No, I'm kidding. Tom O'Hanlon. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.